Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
JD, and I hear someone's playing the theme again. Maybe it's
No,
supposed to
hold
be.
on. Hey everyone, and no, hold on. Why is it
echoing? I hear
There's
an
an
echo.
echo.
Yay!
What's
I don't
going
know
on?
I don't know how to make this stop now. Oh shoot.
Is somebody playing the Facebook stream or the Twitter stream or the YouTube stream? Or
I
some
am
stream?
playing the Instagram stream, but now I can't close it. What
You
if I
could
close
mute
the
it though.
tab? Oh well, too late. I closed the tab. I hope that didn't kill it.
We were on Instagram for about 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm working out the kinks still. Oh man.
Always those things. Technical difficulties. It is one of our staples. After 11 years, just don't be surprised.
We're good at it. Hey,
We
bud,
are
take
good
the
at
dog.
it.
Take the dog. Sorry.
No, I think we're still live.
Oh, no.
We're live.
We're live on Instagram. Yay! So there
Yeah,
we
got a
go.
pulse. Okay.
That is the new thing. We are now going to be streaming on Instagram as well.
Fascinating.
So
That's a word for it.
uh-oh. So anyway, how's everyone doing? John, how are you?
Well, like I was telling you before we went live, I hit the triple play of respiratory diseases. I got the flu, then I went to pneumonia, and then that kicked off a really nice round of heavy bronchitis. So I am it after 2 rounds of antibiotics and a double dose of prednisone. I'm finally on my feet.
Prednisone, good times.
Yeah. I've never had
Well, I'm glad you're
a
feeling
course
better,
that goes
as I
10
said.
days, Normally it only goes 5, but they're like, your lungs, they're not doing so well. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Okay, fine. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I made it through it. And what really pisses me off is that after I had the flu and just as the pneumonia was getting going, I got my flu shot, and the flu shot normally puts me down for 2-3 days. Well, lo and behold, it didn't do anything to me, which means that it was for the same strain that I just had. So if I gotten that damn flu shot, I probably wouldn't have had any of this. So there's your PSA for today. Get your damn flu shots. And while you're at it, get the COVID shot too, because why not?
I got both months ago.
Yeah. Avoid all this crap.
Yeah.
So, other than that, finally on my feet after almost 4 or 5 weeks of being sick.
Ugh.
And yesterday I, took one look at my Christmas list and I'm like, well, okay then. So
Exactly.
my credit card has been heating up the last 2 days, but I think I'm going to make it.
Well, that's good. I mean,
I hope so.
we want you to make it.
No, my nephews and my niece want me to make it.
Well, that's true. That's true.
They're kind of counting on Santa. I mean Santa. So that's about it. Other than that, truncated week for work. I'm gonna work the first 2 days, and then it's all vacation to the end of the year. I cannot wait.
That sounds wonderful. Vacation,
JD.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Vacation. It's good.
How about you, JD?
Status quo. Kid's still trying to kick the pneumonia. We went to the mall today to kind of walk around because he missed his wrestling tournament again. So he missed practice all week, but he coughed a couple times, but it's getting better. So I think tomorrow we reintroduce him back into the wild. I had my finals for my grad school classes last week. I think I feel okay. We'll see. We have finals this week. We finish up on Thursday, and then we're halfway through the school year. Man, I was watching our viewer count. John told his story, and the viewers just plummeted listening to John talk about how sick he is. It was like,
yeah. I saw your post about coaching.
Oh, we had a tournament yesterday. Could have gone better. Could have gone worse, but it could have gone better. Like I said, coaching is living is the post I made was coaching is living in various stages of frustration for months upon end. Like sometimes you're really frustrated, sometimes you're kind of frustrated, and you live somewhere in between there, and it never stops. You're constantly feeling like this. Like it's never like, man, I feel great. We're doing awesome. Like, because you're not. You're always something is always wrong. There's always a fire to put out. There's always something pissing me off about one of these damn kids. So, status quo.
And what about with when it's your own kid? Is it worse?
It's much worse. It's much worse.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a
How are you,
Merry
Dave?
Christmas. Dave.
How was
cap
your
us off
week?
here.
My week was okay. It's just very busy getting ready for Christmas, doing Christmas shopping. I'm gonna preface this comment with I love my girlfriend very much.
What?
Uh-oh.
But like we did a little bit of Christmas shopping this weekend. We went to Kohl's and Five Below yesterday. Like I wanted to go to Five Below and Dollar Store to get, stocking stuffers and like little gifts for my granddaughters and those kinds of things. And so they have a lot of stuff to unwrap. And the Kohl's, she wanted to go there because she had to return something. And then she decided, she wanted to get a pair of slippers for her son. Okay. Then she was looking at shoes for herself. She didn't buy any. But we were in there for a good half hour of her just looking at shoes. And then Five Below, right? Like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. When you go into like a store like Five Below or the Dollar Store, you're going to go in, grab a few things, throw them in your cart, pay for them, and walk out, right? Like
Wrong. That's the man's way of doing things.
Thank you.
No, that's like after there are actual studies on how men and women shop differently.
I can't.
Men go on a mission. Women go in to look around and forage.
Yes.
And it's not a, it's not a gender thing, or it is kind of a gender thing. I think it's like a instinct thing. But by and large, that's the general.
It's probably an evolutionary thing, where men are the hunters, go get your kill, come out, and women are the gatherers. So they want to look at everything and forage and look. So,
guys, I'm on level with both of you. I don't think I'm stretching myself when I say I feel like the manliest member of the show, right? I'm comfortable in that statement. Okay. I love shopping. I love going and looking around, and I've never left a store in less than an hour. I can't go to the grocery store without buying cookies. Like I love there. My kid and Andy spilled some. We went to breakfast and he spilled maple syrup all over himself. And my wife suggested, because it was just two of us, she suggested that we go to Target and just buy him new clothes, buy him a pair of pants, buy him a shirt. And I'm like, great idea. Then we went there and discovered he was commando, so we also had to buy him underwear. Life with a 7-year-old. So, and then we were there for like an hour, 20 minutes, just looking around. Hey, let's look at toys. Hey, let's look at books. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Hey, look at these TVs. Like I love shopping. Love it. Nothing makes me happier. Yeah.
No,
it's weird. Like, and I want to tell you, like, the dollar store today was worse. Like, I was like, I'm going to get home early. We have time to cook dinner.
Dude, it's a week before Christmas. No freaking way. Every store is going to be packed.
But she went down every aisle and like was examining everything, deciding what she wanted to get. And I'm like, it's a dollar store. Like,
what do you got better to do? What's better to do? Like, what do you have that's so pertinent that you have to go home for?
This.
The point of having a significant other is the time you spend with them.
See, that's the difference. You actually prepare for this. I just sit down and freewheel, baby. I'm just going.
Well, there you go. Now you know. Yes. That's the difference between you and I.
Mike says, I say the same thing to Mike on our other show, and it drives. He's in the Air Force, and he's like an officer, so he is like super organized on everything. He has show notes every week that are remarkably detailed. And I never open the email. I'm like, what are we talking about?
You bastard!
I know.
Did you look at our show notes for this week?
Nope. I did actually. I was in the bathroom and I was on my phone. I got the notification. So I'm like, oh, what are we talking about this week? Oh yeah, The Greatest American Hero. I have to go watch that. So I did. I watched it. It was on YouTube for free.
Yeah, I watched the
I
first
totally
3
forgot.
episodes again.
I did not watch the first 3 episodes. I watched the pilot, and it was long. It was way longer.
Yeah.
It was
way
a
longer than
2-hour
expected.
pilot. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
must
it
have
was a
been.
2-hour pilot.
It was like an ABC movie of the week. I'm guessing probably.
Yeah,
how they
something like
started it out.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
without
thought.
commercials, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I have a lot to say about this show when we watch it. Boy, was there a lot going on in that 90 minutes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I want to talk about that.
Can't wait.
All right.
You know, reviewing television programs from 44 years ago, really pertinent stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we're right on top of all of it.
But
Right,
pertinent
top
to
of
our
the crust.
topics. I mean, this
That's what we do.
is a show we should have reviewed a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm
Agreed.
surprised we didn't do it
And,
during COVID in retrospect.
yeah.
When
And
we
it's
were
funny,
like, what the hell are we going to talk about?
And one of the things I want to talk about too is like this is a show that's beloved by at least Gen X, you know, like because we grew up. It was the first superhero show that was ours. It was on TV, you know,
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
the first
super-
superhero show on TV. No.
and not the first one on the TV of Generation X. Like it was ours.
Eh,
No.
No?
There was a little show called The Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby that beat this.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was before us, really, technically.
Like
No.
2 years.
It was in reruns by the
No,
time.
that show premiered-
And you had the
this
Shazam ISIS hour thing too. Like,
and the Amazing Spider-Man catastrophe that thing was in the late 70s. Like this,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Greatest American Hero is like a send-up of all, because there was like a wave of superhero stuff in the late 70s that came out, and this is like the send-up of it. And it's
Okay,
pretty
we're-
beloved because it's well written.
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we're getting
We
ahead
are
of
getting
ourselves.
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, let's bring the mood down and do a little social media madness.
Oh, at least you admit it this time.
Okay, so first off, last week we said that Mark Ruffalo has come out and said he would love to do
Hello,
an
Frosty.
Incredible Hulk movie,
Frosty.
and that of course that's not going to happen because they don't have the rights to do a solo Hulk movie. But I did say like, would people want to see that? And so Kasan, first off, said yes, but I want a savage, indomitable Hulk. This denigration of Hulk to something timid, more akin to a green man with muscles, is boring and almost unwatchable.
Says a guy who's
Uh,
who never actually read The Incredible Hulk from beyond, like Greg Pak. Continue.
Right.
The Gorilla Brain podcast says he'd have to do his first one being he can make another. I don't blame him, but I mean, I think Ragnarok was kind of a Hulk movie, you know, really, when you think
Yeah,
about
kind
it.
of. It really was It was Planet Hulk. It was the closest
Yes.
we're ever going to get to a Planet Hulk movie that just happened to have Thor.
Yep.
Random Randy Savage said, so I was thinking about the Joe Fixit angle. You said it in Vegas. Hulk gets whammed by some demon or X-Men. He thinks he's Robert De Niro in Casino. Fails for a white hair vixen. Falls for
Dave, falls.
a white hair vixen, white queen ? He essentially has to steal these diamonds. Recruits an Ant-Man guy. Hilarity ensues. That's actually not a bad idea.
There's something there. I don't love
There's
all
some-
of it,
yeah.
but there's something there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could
Do you
work.
think we would ever get Joe Fixit in live action, though? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
Not the
if
way
it's
they're
Kevin-
going.
I don't know if Kevin Feige likes that kind of stuff. Like he doesn't seem to have a penchant for the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, and it was an odd period in the Hulk's history too, right? When you think about it.
It is
Yeah.
a good period.
Mauricio RNC said, my answer, no.
It's fair. It's fair answer.
The Epic Film guy said, I don't. And Black Knight 85, I want Savage Hulk. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we said last week, too, right? Like, a lot of people want Savage Hulk. You know, I want the Hulk we had in Ragnarok, where he's still likes to smash stuff, but he talks.
I don't know, man. I liked Ragnarok for what it was. I don't want it to go back there necessarily. Like, I think it was fine, right? I think, but
Yeah.
I don't want the same thing. Like, I mean, I guess, Like I guess that's why I kind of like the Joe Fixit or I like the Professor Hulk because it's different. Right?
Yeah.
It's
And
not
they have so much to pull from. They like, and
Yeah.
they've got so little room for movies and appearances by him that they might as well pull out everything while they can. Although I would have really rather had a World War Hulk though, you know, like a real.
Would
one.
you? Did you like that book? Did you like World War Hulk?
I kind of did, but the thing is, you know, the way they introduced Scar, it would have been better if we had actually gotten a real. So, I don't
Hassan.
know.
Hello, Kassan.
I don't know, man. I think World War Hulk, like I really like Planet Hulk. I think Planet Hulk is a great story. I think World War Hulk is just kind of just brainless, to be honest with you. Especially in comparison to like essentially all Planet Hulk really is a ripoff of Gladiator, right? It really is. And all Planet Hulk really is just like Godzilla.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't love World War Hulk. I think there's better Hulk stories out there. Planet Hulk being one of them. Well, we got that.
Well, again, like
I
I
don't know.
said, there's so much to pull from. They might as well just go through whatever they can while they can. You know.
I think Joe Fixit would be a cool one to do because it's great. We've never seen a gray Hulk in the mainstream. you know?
Right.
Well, it would also be more about the character, which is
would.
something that
We can't do
Marvel's
it.
been missing. Yeah.
Well, you can't. That's the problem. Like we talked about, you can't have a Hulk movie solo. So what do you? Okay, so then Randy brings up a great point because he had his X-Men suggestion. I think maybe you do an Ant-Man story where he has to do where he has to do one last heist, and he winds up working for this vile version of the Hulk that has none of the other ones, moral foibles, right? It's like
Yeah.
scumbag Ruffalo. So then you can make that could be hell. That would have been better than Quantumania, quite frankly.
And you
Yeah.
know what? It gives Ruffalo a different angle for acting, right? Like he's not stuck doing the same character anymore.
Yep. Yeah, Randy says telling you, make Hulk a heist movie and bring in the ex-cons from Ant-Man. I think that's great. I think that's one thing Quantumania sorely missed out on was those characters because they were the heart of the first two Ant-Man movies, like especially Michael Pena. So I think that specifically because you can't do the Hulk movie, but you could do another Ant-Man movie where
Yeah.
do it like an Ocean's 11 where he has one last job that he doesn't want to do, but he's being leveraged into it. And you got to find out who's leveraging him, and it's Joe Fixit. Like,
Yeah.
that would be great. Oh, dude, Ocean's 11 miniature. Holy shit. Like, this is, the more I
Yeah.
think about this, the more it works. Kevin, call me.
Wait. It was Randy's idea.
No, call me. Call me. Call me.
All right.
I'll
And of
share a
course-
story by credit. I said I'll share a story by credit.
Yeah. All right. And then moving on, I had asked our audience, what is your all-time favorite superhero TV show? I thought that was an appropriate question for this week. Starting over on X, formerly known as Twitter. Kassan said, hands down, Netflix Daredevil season 2 with the Punisher was gut wrencher.
It's good.
Okay.
It's really good.
I mean, yeah, it's a good pick.
I like season one
Random-
better, but season 2 is good.
Random Randy Savage says Justice League Unlimited is the best. It showcases B, C, and D list characters while still not treating their audience like they are 5.
I agree. Justice League Unlimited was great. My
Yeah.
favorite animated
Yeah.
series, I think.
And really, really hard to pull off considering WB historically, even in the even tertiarily to the story we're going to do about Greatest American Hero, are famous for interfering with stuff with shows like that. So
Yeah.
the fact that
Comics.
Bruce Timm got through all of that without much, if any, studio interference was amazing, and got out the
Well,
story that he did.
Here's the thing. When he did Batman, he got left alone for the most part. Like Margaret Lesh kind of believed in what they were doing. He didn't get a ton of notes, and he just got to create. And then he was really successful, and they were like, "Oh, okay, let him just do his thing." And he continued to do it with Sue. They built a whole universe, right? You had Superman,
Yeah.
Batman Beyond, and then we rolled right into the two Justice League shows. and they're
and
all
Zeta
excellent.
and
No one
Static
cares about
Shock.
Zeta.
And
No one cares about Zeta Project. Static Shock was good.
Static Shock
No
was
one cared
amazing.
about the
Yeah.
Zeta Project. Static Shock's really good.
Don said Pride of the X-Men.
Stop it.
That's what he said. Timothy Jones.
Get out of here. Australian Wolverine.
We did get an Australian Wolverine. What are you talking about?
Yeah, touche.
Timothy
right.
Jones said, growing
Fair
up,
enough.
I really liked Shazam, the Incredible Hulk series, but Batman was my favorite, especially when Batgirl was on the show. Holy bat boners.
Okay, so I just watched a YouTube video yesterday. I stumbled into the rabbit hole, and they had like clips from the Batgirl pilot that actually was produced before she joined the show, right?
Yep.
Two thoughts. One, God, that stuff is so corny. Two, like, wow, Yvonne DiCarlo in 1967. Wow.
Yeah.
Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Well, I mean, okay, but Julie Newmar as Catwoman.
Oh, double wow. Double wow.
yeah.
You can't know. The talent on the Batman 66 show was fantastic. And don't get me wrong. No question. Casting was great. All of it. Casting was great. Show. A little corny.
Well, that was the point. I mean, it was the end of the
I-
60s.
I actually have
aware.
something to
I know.
say about that when we get to our main topic. So,
With the corny?
about Batman 66. I think
Okay.
you can draw comparisons between the two.
Well, intentionally, because Batman 66 worked. The problem with Batman 66 is it stained superhero stuff for the next 30 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
When 20 years.
Andy, who's at Andy1973, said Daredevil season 1. So he agrees with
It's good.
you.
Yeah.
All right. Over on the Tiki Talks, Colby Carter said Constantine. It's a shame that show
That was a
got
good
killed.
show. Wrong.
It
It was
was.
on the wrong network.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time.
8-Bit Ray said Blade, the series with sticky fingers.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm telling you what they're saying. I
know, because I know Ray's listening, so I have to tell him to stop it.
Stop it. Maximili said, show gotta be the boys until Invincible catches up. Scott Peacock says the boys. Wilkie says the Max, and Headtrick says Invincible. So
The Max from MTV in the late 90s? That version of the
Yeah.
Max?
I'd the only one I could think of that ever existed, right? Like,
wow. That's
there-
that's obscure as hell.
was
no.
there another Max TV show?
No. I'm pretty sure Randy says, I'm pretty sure Adam West was in depth in the casting of that show, as well he should have.
Yeah.
Getting in depth,
Yeah.
consistently in depth.
What was it the guy who played Robin, Burt Ward?
Ward.
He wrote a book about what happened on the set of that show, and yeah, you just go read that. I don't think there's anything we can quote from that book that wouldn't get us taken off of YouTube. Or something. But it was just
give me-
remember
I need-
the book itself is like NC-17. So
John, I need the Cliff Notes version of this.
well, basically, it was all Woodstock all the time there
1960.
with free everything.
Yeah. Nice.
Um,
Like I said, the talent roster on that show was
yeah.
impressive for its era.
It's amazing they got a show done considering
They said
what-
the same.
what
I've heard
actually
the
went
same
on
things
there.
about the 18
Was the
too.
60s. I bet the A-Team was
George
pulling
Peppard.
tail.
Yeah, George Peppard
Dirk Benedict.
apparently had a lot of say in like the guest stars on the show. So
Oh yeah, he didn't want a woman on the show. He didn't think that. Like they I remember they were. I can't remember who played it. But they had a female reporter character that was hanging out with the A-Team, and he was like, "No girls."
Yep.
I thought you meant the A-Team was pulling hella tail on the sidelines, and I firmly believe that with Dirk Benedict. Firmly,
Oh, I'm sure.
the face
all
man.
right.
I'm Mr. T. Yeah.
And then finally over on Facebook, Drew Carlson said
Drew.
X-Men is my favorite, but Batman the animated series holds up the best. nope, scratch that. The Boys is my favorite. Can't make up his
I
mind.
feel like we're on an island when it comes to the boys. I really do.
Yeah, because it's just too brutal for me.
Yeah.
You know, too
Maybe the
really just too I don't know, nihilistic.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
us, man. Everyone else is on this train except the three of us, and we're
Um,
like loners, I guess.
And then Drew followed up with question for JD and the group.
Oh,
What do
okay.
you think about rumors of WBD's interest in WWE Raw when
Well, sir,
they wait, hold on.
I know where this is going. But
Raw
continue.
when they already have an AEW? Could WBD really afford $360 million for a TV show? Could advertising rev match a blockbuster ROI, return on investment? Could WBD grow, have Raw audience for 2 times AEW to 3 times to justify paying 3 times what AEW would cost? And are WBD in a position they could afford if they wanted to? They always seem to be a day away from bankruptcy. Wow.
Okay, I knew where this was going. Drew, my first thing I'll tell you is you should listen to the Mike and JD show, which goes live every Thursday night on YouTube. We launch at 10:30 Central Time every Thursday night, where Mike Gilbert and I go into these discussions quite frequently. So cheap plug out of the way. Also, subscribe to the Mike and JD Patreon for more information. So thank you for that plug. What do I think? I think that there's a decent chance that WBD picks up WWE. It's not great for professional wrestling if that was to happen, because while WBD has not asked for, or WWE has not asked for exclusivity from the other contracts they have signed, I would find it hard to believe that WBD would want to keep both WWE and AEW on the same network. Anything is possible. Now, that being said, WWE is expensive, but it ain't the NBA, my man. They're going after another NBA deal. And so if they have the cash to spend on the National Basketball Association, which is literally TNT afloat, like that's their number one show is basketball. Like they're going to have that. They have to have that money. They want now. Here's the thing: is this thing, guys. If WBD for the NBA, but they want less games for the same price, right? So if they don't get the NBA, they have to. I think that's kind of where WWE is, because I'm of the mind of the people that firmly believe that WBD owns points in AEW, right? So Tony Khan has the products outside of the WBD window. That's kind of what I think. Would I be surprised if they pick up Raw? Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time I wouldn't be, because the stories are out. I do think that either USA or Amazon will pick up Raw, though. That is my prediction. For more on this, please listen to the Mike and JD show, part of the Voices of Wrestling Network, every Thursday night on YouTube. Subscribe to our
That
Patreon.
is one of the longest commercials we've run.
Hey man, someone asked me a question. I got to do my due diligence. I owe it to one of our most dedicated listeners.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
Patreon.
But John, you now know how JD feels when we start talking about Dungeons and Dragons. All right.
Yeah, or anime.
Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, did you hear what happened at Wizards of the
Coast? And then Kazan said, I love The Boys and Invincible. It explores a reality where superhero powers don't make you super moral. Yes, but I mean that's the thing, right? Like,
broke my headphones.
Isn't that what separates superheroes from, people with powers, is that they are moral good people?
Well, that's the point, though.
Yeah, it is. That is the point. It's nihilistic. It's why we don't get into it,
Yeah.
Because the three of us actually like we like the idea of like noble superheroes, right? And I think it's just a little bit too more on that later. I think it's just a little too the zeitgeist. He'd be like, but this is what they'd be like for real. And it's like, I don't know, man, we've been doing that. I guess if you read comics, you've been seeing that kind of stuff since the 80s. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, what new do you have to say? Like, I don't feel like The Boys says anything new.
Yeah.
Well, if you were going to say, if you were really going to make something about somebody who got superhero powers for real, there was a psychological study done a while ago. I forget when, and I forget the name of the study, but it was like they took a bunch of people. They split them off into two groups. One were the guards, one were the prisoners. And then they just let it run for a while. And
Yeah.
the idea of power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, if they were going to do that for real, half the planet be dead at that point. Like, it'd be ruled by despots with superpowers. Because
Sir-
99 times out of 100, the person who gets superpowers is just
All right.
going to just.
The world is already ruled by despots. So,
Yeah, I know it is, but
and you know what?
Yeah.
And,
if you,
and I got to do this to myself.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
But yeah, no, I can't remember the name of that study. It's fascinating. Like, people should read about that. Like, they didn't even have the cells weren't even locked, but the prisoners fell into a thing where, like, they put them in the cell and close the door, and they would stay in there. They could have left anytime they wanted, but like,
it's called the Stanford Prison Experiment.
yeah,
And it was
like,
done in August of 1971, and the results are absolutely fucking terrifying, except for the fact that if you look at our current politics now, it's not surprising at all.
Current politics?
And
I mean,
still
like,
terrifying.
it's Lord of the Flies, man. We've been talking about this for a century.
But the thing is, like, in 1971, we were still riding high on all of the protections that we had had since the Great Depression, the robber barons. And now that you see people with that,
I'm
much
sorry,
power over our society-
Well, hold on. 1971. Ah, yes, when everything was nice and harmonious during the peak of Watergate in Vietnam.
True, but we didn't have
What?
as much. We
Despots?
didn't have the.
We had Nixon.
No. Easy. We didn't have the sheer amount of money going from these mega corporations into our politics, and you're seeing exactly the same things that happen
All right.
in that study. So yeah, if you gave somebody with superpowers, they would be much worse than any rich person with money who could throw
I think it'd
around
be the same.
politicians.
I think they'd be the same because, like, we didn't have the corporations. Like, that really became more of a thing in the 80s. But what we did was we did have the
Yeah, after
industrial
Reagan.
war machine. Yeah, we had the industrial war machine that was out there.
Oh yeah, no,
slaughtering,
the
running secret wars in Cambodia.
the military
and stuff
industrial
like that.
complex
Like,
was
yeah.
very well. Yeah,
So I mean, like,
there's
I
your
don't know.
politics for today, guys.
yeah, Dave hit the button.
Your sociology.
Oh, Dave's out. Out of the show.
what? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Dave,
never
oh,
mind.
my-
We can ignore
Moving
it this
on.
week.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
I guess we don't.
No,
we need
Frosty,
a few more of those.
Frosty said you forgot YouTube. He said Smallville.
Oh yeah, Smallville. That was a good one. That was a good one for a long
Thank
while.
you, Gaston.
You
That
get
was going to be my.
you get about
That,
10 good episodes of Smallville a year. The rest were poo poo.
all right. Hold
Well,
on.
yeah.
But that's the formula. Hold on.
It is.
And I'll explain that when I get to my answer. My question was then for you two and myself, what is your favorite all-time superhero TV show? And I think I know the answer for John, but go ahead, John.
No, this is probably. I mean, and it's probably a product of when it showed during my childhood. This is one of my absolute favorites, though.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say.
And then you would go into Bruce Timm, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought you were going to say Justice League Unlimited.
Oh,
was
yeah.
your favorite.
Yeah, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, that I count those together.
JD.
I will also say Justice League Unlimited.
Okay, my answer is Smallville.
Really was that good?
Is what?
And the thing is,
What was your answer?
oh, mine's Smallville.
Smallville, really? Okay.
Oh.
And Thrawn Kill says Smallville.
Smallville
Justice League.
just those pleather jackets with the hood.
Oh, by the way, I might add another one onto that. Just Stargirl. When it was on,
Yeah, it was good.
the first season was amazing. Yeah.
So I've had this conversation with people before, and like Smallville is a show for people that are Superman fans, but not diehard Superman fans.
Right.
Yeah, I
And-
agree with that.
Canon, what's that?
And not only that,
Gun.
like
It's a gun, right?
back when we had the episodic TV, because they don't really make episodic shows anymore.
No.
And like the whole thing with that was, like you just said, with most shows, they always say this: you get, let's say, 24 episodes in a season, so you get like 10 good episodes, 6 meh episodes, and The rest are
filler.
crap, like because they're throwaway episodes that don't mean anything, and that was true for a lot of episodic shows. Bo Luke and Pa Kent, yeah. Thrawn says that's
John Schneider.
yes,
Yeah, like Smallville was essentially Buffy, right?
Yeah, in a
Especially
lot
those
of
first,
ways.
like 3 or 4 seasons, it was pretty much Buffy, and then it really I think the show really kind of finds its groove when Erica Durance joins the cast as Lois Lane, because she
Yeah.
gives
Yeah.
she really gives an extra spark to the show. Like she is
She
like my
balanced it.
favorite. She's like my favorite Lois Lane of all time. Loved her performance on that show. Right, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that
Randy
is
says
it.
Randy says Lana was Ma Kent. Yes, the remarkably gorgeous Annette O'Toole.
Yes. All right. Well, that is all of the social media madness for this week. So, if you would like to learn more about Superhero Speak and some other great podcasts and follow along on social media madness, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
How's the show going? You join it? Do you want to be part of Social Media Madness? And go ahead and head over to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social links, episodes of the show. You can find comic reviews by Chris and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, So Wizard, and Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure that you are engaging with the Superhero Speak Twitter post whenever they come up. Give us your best comment, and you may make JD say this.
I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers.
All right, it's back to the show.
Do get tired of them.
And then while you're here, if you're watching us now or watching this later on, please hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern. Oh yeah, and also I wanted to say something. I don't know what's going on. Chris, if you're watching this or listening afterwards, hope you're all right. I have not heard from him in a while, so
Oh,
I'm not sure what's going on there. That's why there hasn't been a comic book review up on the website in a little bit.
yeah.
So
Chris is.
yeah. So
Yeah.
That's
I sent him some books and he hasn't responded. And then I realized he did send me like a month ago a review on one of the Punisher books, and I forgot to put it up on the website, which I will put that up this week, even though it's a little late. But I said, "Oh, I forgot, I didn't see this," but he didn't respond to that either. So I'm not sure if he's mad or if something's going on. So
It's the holidays, so I mean, hopefully he's just busy.
yeah, it's probably just busy with the holidays.
Everybody gets busy around this time.
Yeah. All right.
Some of
Well,
us
on
too
that note, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a new one yet.
Oh man.
We'll be right back with some news.
Some podcasts are like this.
I think someone put it lightly and quite cleverly. It's like girls are like lesbians aren't turned off by dicks. They're turned off of what's behind them. And I was like, yo, fuck yeah.
What's behind a dick? A butt?
The man.
Oh.
That was so fucking stupid.
And some podcasts are like this.
I have an upsetting opinion.
I'm ready.
A corn dog is a tamal.
F off.
What? No. Hold on. Think about it.
You need to F off.
It's like a loose corn-based batter that's cooked around a central filling.
You're
am I
cooked
crazy
around
here?
the central filling.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy here?
Yeah.
A corn dog shares so many more similarities to a tamal than a Wellington.
I disagree. I think the corn dog is more related to fried catfish than it is to tamale.
I like how I looked at the graphic to see what a corn dog is. Fried catfish, what is that?
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Putting up all the equipment, talking. The dude's putting on gloves as they're shutting things down. It's just like
weightlifting gloves.
You thought you were gonna come out on top, huh, Steve?
Yeah.
Hmm? Now he beat you.
No. Fucking bait.
Now we.
I don't care who you were before you beat the record.
The machine is ours. Your wife, your children, they're ours. Now we beat you.
Destroying this cabinet with no survivors.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest. You know, the people in those commercials get dumber every week. We've seen that one before, but I've even lost like the humor in them, right? Because the first guy is just really dumb, and then like the second one, it's like, now I'm annoyed that she says "f off." It's like, just say "fuck." Like, Sam says, "Oh, f off." It's just, I don't know, man. It's so much more off-putting to me to hear someone just like censor themselves by it's lame. Those are both lame. At least the porn star ones are kind of funny when they're being like, the conversations are like funny, or like when they play the really stupid people. This one was just like,
yeah, Randy. You hear that, Randy? More porn stars. All right.
Oh, Randy said he sent a new one. Oh, good. Next week we get a new one. And you know what? I'm amazed more people don't submit these to us. Like, because we have a lot of podcasts that we hang out with.
I have.
I'd like to see more.
Oop, I did not mean to click on that. I have asked everyone in the Geek World All Stars, like, create an ad, and we will gladly play it. And Randy's the only one willing to make them. So,
and they're funny every week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a funny man.
A corn dog does not have anything in common with fried catfish, though. He's right. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? It is kind of like a tamale. It's not a corn. It's nothing like fried catfish. That's ridiculous.
So catfish, fish, ocean heroes, Aquaman. So speaking of Aquaman, and he's got a movie coming out very shortly. Jason Momoa said he wants to keep playing Aquaman, but doubts he will return. This is according to Entertainment Tonight. Did an interview with them. So what do we think? Like, is this shocking? Like, we know that Gunn wants to redo everyone. He's quickly killing off, getting rid of the current casts. But I'm wondering, like, saying this out loud right before the movie comes out, is that just going to hurt the movie even more?
Dave, I got bad news for you. No one's going to see this movie. Doesn't matter.
Well,
look how everything's trended this
are.
year. Well, yeah, us. I mean, like, we're stupid. Like, so we're gonna go. John O'Grady says, Kassan, My Hero was up there, but I'm old and I've seen a lot more material.
Kassan asked me if I was going to say My Hero Academia is one of the best ones, but
keep that stuff in the private messages, guys. Okay, we're moved on. No, I mean,
no. This is gonna be a disaster. Like they,
gentlemen, we're going to Awake next week.
I want to ask. Okay, so serious question, completely serious question, right? It's
serious answer.
The Marvels was a complete disaster for Disney, right? Like,
it didn't deserve it, but yes.
What
circumstances?
Will Aquaman do better or worse than the Marvels?
Better.
Yeah,
Okay.
only because they don't think
better
they don't
domestically.
have the Brie Larson hater contingent.
Better domestically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Blue Beetle was good. I think we all agreed the best superhero movie of the year, Blue Beetle, and that did toilet water.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I guess the question is, does Jason Momoa have more drawing power than Brie Larson? Which
Oh yeah,
Yes,
no, from
I
the
think he
women,
does.
yes.
100%. Chicks dig Jason Momoa. He's a
Yes, they
handsome
do.
man. Like, I think it'll do better, but I don't think it'll do great. Because
No,
like,
I don't think it'll do great either. But yeah,
I mean, it's like I said, we're going to Awake. This is it. This is like our chance to say goodbye to the DC EU. What do they call it?
EU,
What was it?
EU.
Yeah, DC EU, and just say
Extended
goodbye.
universe.
Yeah, it's not so extended after all. It's now the DC retracted universe. They, we'll say see you later. Hopefully, the final installment is pretty entertaining. But it's this is it. Kassan says, "Listen, sometimes the train wreck attracts a crowd. The DCU is about to catch some predictable. Is about to come to a predicted catastrophic end. People may want to watch it burn. I don't think so. I think these movies have been met with apathy all year. I don't think there's that much. Thronkill says he'll bring some Fast universe crowd to see it. Maybe nobody went and saw him in the Fast. The movie with him was the worst performing Fast movie. Like, that's the problem with this year. And I've said it more on the show, and I'll keep saying it. This was the year the franchises all took a crap.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody went to franchise movies all
Right. It wasn't
year.
just-
If
Right,
I'm
like,
Dave, nervous about Dune 2 coming out, to be honest with you.
Everyone kept trying to say it's the superhero movies dying. It was like, no, it's all franchise movies died this year.
Mission Impossible died. Like we said, Fast X died. Like anything this year that was a sequel to something, and there were a lot of sequels this year, let me tell you, did not perform well at the box office. Nothing. What the successes were: Barbie, Oppenheimer, couple horror movies, and then Godzilla 1, which is just small, but it was kind of fine. Randy like him in the Fast. He's great in everything. Jason Momoa was the man. Kassan says, JD, your audio is breaking up. Oh, sorry, man.
Hopefully we can close some things on your computer, man.
Hopefully the audio and I can reconcile and bring this back.
Thronkill says, no, blasphemer, Dune 2 will be glorious.
We'll see.
Anyway,
But this is just capping off the WB making every bad decision for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they keep announcing movies and then they kill off the reason to see it. Like even on their shows, like was it Swamp Thing, right? They announced that they were canceling it the day before they started, the day before the streams went live. Like, what the hell? Like, and then the Batgirl movie and all this, like they have every decision they're making is from a CEO point of view of, I have to keep our stock up, and not from anything that would have actually helped the company.
David Zaslav. Okay, and at the same time, the stuff they have released has been bad. They brought Michael Keaton back to Batman this year, and no one cared. They brought a brand new Latino superhero to the theaters this year that scored great scores, right? Rotten Tomatoes did good. Critics loved it. Problem is, there weren't enough of them to go see it. Right? Like, they're making bad... and people are mad. Like, here's what I'm saying, right? They released the Flash movie. That was... And again, we kind of liked it, but I mean, like, none of us thought it was amazing, right? And they didn't release the movie. How is that? Legitimately speaking, how bad was the Batgirl movie? It was probably terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
eventually,
I
I think
mean-
it'll make its way out to the public somehow.
We'll see it.
Yeah.
It's too easy to copy. It's probably too easy to copy the original material, and then somebody will get a hold of it and edit it. You know?
No one has it. WB is run like a Shenanigans. Is that a restaurant? Is that a chain restaurant?
Yeah. if it is, I wouldn't eat there. But yeah, that sounds about right.
I agree. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Most mismanaged.
We have Bennigan's in the Midwest.
IP. Yeah, most
Okay.
mismanaged
Yeah.
IPs ever, though. Yeah. Just
And this is why Drew's comment earlier about pro wrestling. This is why pro wrestling fans, because Zaslav makes weird decisions.
Yeah.
Makes weird
Well,
decisions.
he's making CEO decisions about stock prices. He's not
But
he's not making a decision that would actually help the stock price. Because CEOs these days just have no fucking clue about that.
Here's the problem.
You know?
Here's the problem with David Zaslav. Nothing he's done has helped their stock price. They're still billions of dollars in debt.
Yeah. In fact, all the decisions he's made has just hurt them more. And at some point they may get rid of him, and when they get rid of him, it's going to pull the cord on his golden parachute. They'll have to pay him like $20 million to leave, his last FU as he walks out, and he'll get hired immediately by another company because that's how CEOs like that work.
Kassan Warren says, actually, I was listening to a podcast called The Critical Drinker, funny, who was very vocal against. He investigated the plot. He thought him actually good. Sir, let me tell you about a man who spent 4 years rallying for the New Mutants movie because he thought the concept sounded fantastic. A bunch of mutants trapped in an insane asylum and having to figure things out.
Oh no!
I thought for 4 years this movie is going to be something. New Line doesn't know, like they're just being harsh because New Line's dying. This movie is going to be good. I'm telling you guys, the trailer looked good. I was all about the new.
It had Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
Anya Taylor-Joy. It had the short from Game of Thrones. She was Wolfsbane. Like it had the guy from Stranger Things. It was actually really well cast.
Mm-hmm.
The movie sucked. The movie was bad. And I waited years to talk about this movie. Years. And I was like, no, I'm telling you guys, this is going to be all right. This is going to be a horror movie. That's why it didn't work. Because Marvel doesn't want horror movies. They're just mad because this doesn't go in with what Disney wants. They were right. It was bad.
Yeah. Speaking of things that nobody watched, did you guys watch the Merry Little Batman?
I did.
Oh, okay. Because it totally flew over my head. I completely missed it. I mean, I can go and watch it now, but
I watched it with the end one.
Yeah. Did he like it?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, he loved it. That was great. It was a little kid. Definitely a Batman's kids. Damien getting in trouble on Christmas. Be his dad. Being super overprotective. It's got a great little moral. Bruce is overprotective of Damien because he never got to have a childhood and he lost his parents when he was the same age. A little tearjerky. I have nothing but good things to say about Merry Little Batman. Thank God Zaslav sold it to Amazon.
I will say that according to James Gunn, there will be more animated, said Elseworlds DCU specials like the Merry Little Batman going forward. So
good.
He's saying it's an Elseworlds to the DCU, so it's somehow connected to what he's building. So.
DC for every bad thing they've done, their animated shows usually are good.
Yeah,
their animated division knows what they're doing. They've had a few missteps lately because of all the shenanigans, but otherwise, like they're usually the best of the bunch.
Agreed.
I will say this though, when I watched the preview, like I thought the animation style was weird. What did you think?
You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it, Dave. You hate anything that's like not traditional. Like
what's the animation style?
Different. Like I don't know how I would characterize it. Very expressive.
Like maybe like the funnies from the comics. Maybe in a way. Yeah.
John will like it. Dave will say this is not what I see in a comic book. Ergo, bad. Am I right?
Kassan says the animated shows are good, probably because the execs look down on the art and don't interfere.
I feel that truth to that.
Yeah.
That's it's possible.
Yeah. Most likely that's what's going on. All right. So moving on. So I did not hear these rumors, but they've already been debunked. Garth Edwards, who was the director of Rogue One, a Star Wars Story. Apparently, there were a lot of rumors that he was going to be directing Thor 5, and he has come out and said, no, that is not true at all.
Gareth Edwards. Yes, you're correct there. And he's not, he was shot down for that. I don't know if they're even developing Thor 5.
Oh, sorry. My
your
computer
brutal
crazy for a second.
Oh, so your brutal pronunciation of names. Gareth Edwards.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, Gareth.
Garth.
Yeah.
Garth.
I said
like,
Garth.
Like
Garth, Gareth.
Like party on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I don't even know, man. They haven't announced yet. Marvel's in a weird place right now, but we don't really know kind of what's happening. Jonathan Majors,
they don't either.
Maybe no. That's the thing. For the first time, I feel like Kevin Feige's like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Do we want a Thor 5?
Honestly, I do not.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like, what are they going to do? Explore his relationship with his now adopted daughter? You know,
Felt very much like a retirement film at the. I don't know, man. Idea of moving.
It wasn't a
on to the
great
next-
retirement film, but
No, the idea of moving on to the heroes is probably not working.
yeah. Just give us X-Men and Fantastic Four and move on. You know?
Spider-Man. I want another.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to get 3 more Spider-Man movies. We'll see what happens.
by the way, just to interject here, speaking of things that are on streaming that aren't really part of the main universe, I came across this and I keep forgetting to tell you guys on Max streaming. There's this thing called Flash Escape the Midnight Circus, and it's a podcast, an audio only story about the Flash, and there's a couple of episodes of it.
Yeah,
So-
they have I think it's either X-Men or Wolverine one that's pretty popular. I know it's definitely Wolverine centric. But yeah, there's a couple podcasts like that are actually sanctioned by DC or Marvel.
But I just thought I mentioned it because people on the show might want to hear about that. You know, it's
Right.
called, again, it's on Max.com. The Flash Escape the Midnight Circus, and it's a podcast.
Oh. All right.
Sorry, having problems. Technical difficulties.
Yes.
My bad.
And Randy
Say-
says, "Bring back Luke Cage."
Great advice.
Well, at least give us a finish to that storyline, for crying out loud.
Nope, never gonna happen. Coulter,
That's
I don't
gonna
think
forever trigger my OCD.
Coulter was never returned to the role, unfortunately. They call it an audio drama, John, according to Kassan.
They do.
Thank you, Kassan.
They have one for
Yeah.
Batman. Yeah, I knew that.
Big
too.
Finish been
You-
doing
you-
them for Doctor Who for decades.
Kassan,
Yes.
you do know that you're talking to somebody who used to listen to The Shadow on the radio, right?
When it was airing for the first time.
Originally, yes.
And Green Hornet.
Oh my God. All right, and then our last little bit of news for this week.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? John O'Grady knows. That's
Yeah,
from the Flash.
Yeah, I do. I keep a list. Okay. What?
That's Randy's replying to Kassan. Ooh la la! Someone is getting late in college.
Oh,
Audio drama, correcting you. So
Great.
anyway,
our comments
took
are
me a
now
second.
fighting each other.
over on Threads, apparently James Gunn posted this was picked up by Variety. He said that one of the worst elements in recent superhero movies is what he calls cameo porn.
Oh, we've never seen that in comic books before. Especially.
He's not wrong.
So yeah,
No, he's not
shoehorning
wrong
in-
at all. No, it's
shoehorning characters in to like appease people. I think one of the things he's talking about is the most recent one is Beast at the end of the Marvels.
I think that one kind of works though. Like, but he's not like it wasn't. I don't think it's as bad now as it was probably about 6-7 years ago, where they were just doing it
Or
constantly.
what about
in the
the
Marvel
end of the
movies.
Eternals, where we got what was his face?
Harry
some
Styles as
singer-
Eros.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that was
no one
like,
cares.
and then nothing came of that either, right? And it's just
well,
like,
and but that's the thing. Like,
God.
it was okay when they were doing it in the first, phase 1 through 3 because everything led to something. But now they've got so many things out there, and like you said, even Feige is at this point probably not knowing what's going on, what he's doing. Like,
The gimmick's
all
played
of
out.
these cameos they're just cameos. They don't do anything for us anymore.
It's a played out gimmick.
Yeah.
man. That's the problem. What was cool in 2008 isn't cool anymore. But like, isn't that true with everything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, series.
But again,
series are
if you're
played
gonna-
out at this point.
if you're going to do the cameos and not have them mean anything, like don't do them.
Then
Like,
what's
you
the
don't need
point,
them.
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree.
Exactly. Again, like I said, I think it was either last week or the week before, they've been hinting at Young Avengers and Dark Avengers and building something in these like after credit cameo scenes for a couple of years now, and nothing. Like,
Well, we're getting a Dark
first-
Avengers movie. They're making that. I don't want them to, but they are.
Yeah,
Or Thunderbolts.
It's
It's,
not
a
a-
Thunderbolts movie.
Kassan
It's
says
not a
it's not
played out
played
gimmick when
Okay.
when it's the main pillar in Deadpool 3. It's not a gimmick in that though. Like in Deadpool 3, it's kind of a crux of a story. So it's not like and again, it's in a comedy, the rules are different because you're going for humor, right? And it's just
Yeah.
again, it's just played out. The whole Shazam cameo scene was fumbled entirely.
Oh God, it was no that's when
Yeah.
they're just sticking Wonder Woman at the end of every movie just to
Well,
get.
Gunn
an
was
extra
talking
button to see
specifically about Gunn specifically meant Economos and Harcourt are stuck at the end of Shazam 2 to join them. They
Yeah.
haven't joined the Justice Society. And Gunn's like, I didn't approve this. I don't know why that doesn't make any sense why this happened, which is weird because one of them's his wife, and you think he would have known that she was going to work that day. But apparently he wasn't thrilled with that and just kind of, put the kibosh in the whole thing. Like the whole universe is getting reboot except for the stuff that James Gunn works on, which is very Jeff Johns in the mainstream DC Comics universe.
Well,
now that I think about
Also,
Nice.
Also, think about this too, right? Like, not just that one, the Black Adam Superman cameo, like that became completely meaningless after
Well,
all of that.
Well, here's the reason that whole thing happened: is Dwayne shook his big rock in front of
Yeah.
the WBD office and said, "This is what we're gonna do. This is what it's gonna be. Black Adam's gonna fight Superman." They're like, all right, sure. Look, this is what you want. Dwayne's movies make a lot of money, and then Black Adam didn't make any money, and they were like, "Oh, fuck!" And then everyone got fired. That's the whole reason why Gunn's in charge.
Yeah.
It's because Dwayne tried to take over the DCU, and it didn't work.
But- Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, and that's also a cameo that like we really didn't need.
No, not at
So-
all. Not at all. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he's talking about. Cameo porn. It's a great way to describe it, actually.
And the end of Shazam, where like they're trying to go for a little bit. I mean, he's not dead, but like they're going for a little bit of gravitas, and then the Wonder Woman theme plays, and she shows up smiling, and it's like, yeah, this is not fitting any kind of mood here. This is literally the definition of cameo porn. Like,
Sucked.
had nothing to do with anything. Broke the mood completely.
Her cameo in Flash was better.
Yeah.
It's the same exact scene. It's the same exact scene, right?
Yeah.
Man, those
Well,
movies.
yeah,
are
she's
so,
had the
like-
same exact scene in like 3 different movies now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like those movies are really gonna get looked back on in a couple of years. People will be like, "Wow, this is really off the rails." So you could tell the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. It's a good thing Matt Reeves was allowed to make his weird ass Batman movie, and no one bugged him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
We'll see
It
where-
worked.
I'm worried that's not going to go anywhere though.
They're making
All
it.
right.
He's got a Penguin TV show coming out that's set in his universe.
That is
So-
true. That is true. Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Well, that is all the news I brought this week.
No,
Oh.
never mind.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, this is tangent to Dungeons and Dragons, but don't worry about JD. This might be interesting. Hasbro, Hasbro, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Hasbro, one of the biggest toy makers of literally several generations of kids. And you think that this year they had the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which did really good. They had Baldur's Gate 3, which came out.
And not too really
which
good. It died.
Well,
Not too really. It was a good movie. We
did
all liked
way-
it.
It did way better than any of the other Dungeons and Dragons movies. I mean, it was enough to get a sequel. And then the Baldur's Gate 3 game comes out. You'd think Hasbro would be on top of the world. They just laid off 20% of all of Wizards of the Coast.
Huh.
So
it's about
and-
meeting shareholder expectations, projections.
Yes.
Excuse me. It's about meeting
Yes.
shareholder projections, not about actual success.
Right. When Wizards
Yeah,
of
it
the
was-
Coast was a privately owned company, they did okay. And then when they're publicly owned by Hasbro, and it's but it's just, over my lifetime, I've seen so many things that like made a difference in my childhood and in my life go away because of all this money crap. And Hasbro, I mean, seriously, Hasbro's in trouble because the CEOs don't want to give up some of their couple million, millions and millions of dollars to save a couple of jobs, and instead just lay off. Like the guy from Larian Studios who made Baldur's Gate 3, he said almost everybody he knows that he worked with for Baldur's Gate 3, all the art directors and artists and all that, they're all gone from Hasbro.
Are they broke? Yeah. Are they broke? Or are they just trying to meet projections? Because that's the easiest.
They're meeting projections. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between being broke and underperforming what Wall Street expects. And the easiest way to fix that is to fire a bunch of people and make the people who are still there work 10 times harder.
Yep.
That's what CEOs do. That's how corporate America teaches us. Like it doesn't matter how, like, I've been reading a lot of stuff that's interesting about how having a private company is actually much better than having a public company, because like, then you don't have to do this. You can run the company the way you want to. You don't have to answer to a board, share. Like, you don't have to answer to a board. Like, it's just, maybe you don't make the volumes of money, but the companies are so much more difficult to run this way. So, I mean, and this is what we're going to have.
And there's this, like, and I don't know if this is a holdover from like the early internet company boom days, but it's like every company now that's publicly held has to make enormous gains every year, or they're considered, even if they're making small gains every year and they're fine and like there's no way they're going out of business, that's still not enough, and they're considered failures. And then they do that, and then the board forces stuff like layoffs and crap for no reason.
Yeah. Well, God, I could do a whole hour.
Yeah, I know.
But
I just thought
early
like
2000s internet .com boom, because it was like no one knew. None of these people knew what was going on. They didn't understand the internet, and they were like buying up these little companies. People were starting these companies, and they were getting bought up left and right, and people didn't know what was going on, and a lot of money was like wasted.
And we talk about this about the streaming wars too. It's like up until COVID, all these streaming services are like, oh, we'll make money soon. We'll make money soon. And the venture capitalists were just backing up dump trucks into their yards with cash. And then COVID hit, and they're like, oh, well, all the financial stuff is going down the tubes. We need to see the money now from our investments in your streaming service. And all the streaming services are like, oh shit. That's why they're starting to take huge amounts of content offline and raising prices like crazy. It's all connected. But
all right, well, you know what? In the wise words of T'Challa,
what are you doing? We don't do that here.
We actually do talk about that here, but
yeah. Well, I think it's we're getting too in the weeds, I think. All right. On that note, we'll take a really quick commercial break and be back with our main topic.
Wow, the stinger!
Timmy, I'm from the Dream Come True Fantasy Contest. You ready to wrestle?
You bet! Mom! Dad, it's really him! Hold on! Okay, now I'm ready.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Wanna go 2 out of 3?
I'm not a wrestling guy, but that commercial makes me laugh every freaking time.
It's a childhood favorite of mine. God, I love Sting. He's retiring this year at Revolution in February.
Oh
yeah,
he's 64.
Holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, see, I mean, look, I played that in honor of A, it's a throwback, and B, you had so much wrestling talk earlier in the show. There you
Appreciate
go.
My favorite
All
wrestler.
right, guys. We are, you have the mask to prove it.
Right behind.
We watched an old show.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up of the world. It should have been somebody else.
Singing the song.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on it. Is that not like the TV theme song ever?
Seriously?
That song made it to number 2 on the Billboard charts.
Legitimately, it was a hit. Like, it's a legitimate hit.
Yeah, who was the? I can't think of his name. The guy
Mike
who
Post.
did like
Mike Post was the guy who wrote the song. It was a different singer, but I forget who's the singer. Is. But
Mike Post
did everything.
Also did Tales of the Gold Monkey, The Quest, Powers of Matthew Starr, A-Team.
I have no idea what those shows you just mentioned.
Okay, A-Team.
Hill Street Blues. I know the A-Team.
Hill Street Blues. Like almost every Hardcastle McCormick. Murphy's Law, like almost everything that you can think of.
Everything from the 80s.
Quantum Leap. He did all the songs for Quantum Leap. You know?
Yeah.
The good Quantum Leap, not the shit one that's on Peacock now.
Yeah. Silk Stockings, Great Pretender, Doogie Howser.
Oh, I know the Silk Stockings. That was on after Monday Night Raw, and then every week saw many an episode of Silk Stockings at 12.
He also did Cop Rock, so I don't know if he still has that. But.
Greatest American Hero, for those who don't know,
Refocus.
was a TV show that ran from 1981 to 1983, 3 seasons. On I think, was it ABC?
ABC.
It was ABC originally, yes.
Yeah, ABC, starring William Catt, Connie Selica, and Robert Culp.
Robert Culp, who was a national freaking treasure.
He's fantastic.
And
he was amazing.
And
you guys ever see the Star Wars William Catt auditions with Kurt Russell?
Yes.
For Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, and these guys are good actors, and it doesn't work.
It's funny because like there's a lot of stories about like when they were making that movie, and like everyone auditioned. That like there's this big circle of people that knew each other in Hollywood that were trying to make it, and like everyone auditioned for Star Wars.
Well, De Palma and Lucas held their auditions together because De Palma was making a movie at the same time, right? And they're buddies, so they held the auditions. So while William Catt did not get the role of Luke Skywalker, he got to be the good guy in Carrie.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that was his breakthrough. He was the guy who was nice to Carrie White, and then wound up dying. He didn't die in the fire. He got killed when the bucket hit him in the head. And then Carrie goes and kills everybody.
So, 1981. I'm kind of curious. Like, you were 1, JD, so you weren't watching this when it first came out.
I'm pretty sure I watched it. I'm pretty sure my parents watched it because I remember this show as a kid. I might have watched it in reruns. Is all I can come up with because it was canceled when I was 3. I vividly remember watching this show as a little kid. So. Must have been in reruns or something.
It was heavily in syndication.
Yeah, it must have been. I remember I swear to God, watching a lot of like weird. I remember watching like the Hulk, and I remember watching like Dukes of Hazzard. It's like really, really little, like just like being not watching it, just like it being part of like what was going on in life, you know. So I've always known of this show. Like I never like discovered it. Like I've always known about it.
All right, then John, you were
I watched
23, 24 when it came out.
I was still young enough that I remember being confined to my room. I was being punished and sneaking out of my room.
Small wonder, my man. Wonder.
Yeah, and ninjaing it all the way to right behind the couch so I could look around the base of the couch and watch it while my parents were sitting on the couch not knowing I was there. Because I loved that show. I mean, it was, you know,
it's a great show.
I remember, I mean, I was 6 when the show came out, and I just remember like it was different, and I really loved it, you know, and I already loved superheroes at that point. So, you know, as I was saying earlier, like it felt like it was the first superhero show that was mine, right? Because it was a different character. It wasn't Hulk or Spider-Man or Batman, right? It was something completely different. What a crazy premise for a show, too, right? Like,
well, it was done by Stephen J. Cannell, who had just formed his own company, and he wanted to do a show where he subverted the idea of here's a superhero. He wanted to make it about the characters and the effects of, being a superhero on this person, Ralph Hinckley, and all the people around him, and he didn't want it to be the serial save the day every episode thing.
Very much like imagine The Boys if it wasn't nihilistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
like if the boys didn't hate humanity and the idea of superheroes in itself, like this is kind of what it is. Like it's very charming. Like I don't know, man.
Yes.
I loved watching this. That's very cool, Joseph. Appreciate you jumping in. Let's talk about this trailer. Or let's talk about the pilot. This is what this is. We watched it. It's essentially, I was amazed how long it was because like I saw this on YouTube, right? This is the first episode is available on YouTube. First few episodes I think are available on YouTube for anybody to watch, and it's an hour 40 minutes long. So this was like definitely premiered as a 2-hour made for TV movie, which was a thing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where people just made movies directly for. A lot of times it was to jump television show, and this is what this was.
Yep.
Dave.
so anyway, it's right. So he made this
Dave's
tour.
Egon.
Dave's busy. It was made for a 2-hour pilot. It was done very late in the season, so they only had enough room for 8 episodes for the first season, technically.
Well, it really feels like they didn't even think they were going to get a show out of this, because there's like 6 different episodes going on in this like 2-hour show. Like there's so much plot crammed into this.
That is one of the problems that they ran into really quickly is he's getting a divorce, he has a kid, and Connie Selica was his divorce attorney, who was only supposed to be there for the pilot, but she did so well, and she tested so well that the audience loved her so much that they brought her back as a regular. And then you've got William Catt and Robert Culp, or Hinckley and Maxwell, hating on each other in the beginning, and the interaction there. You've got the students in the class that Ralph Hinckley's trying to teach at the same. Like they have this a huge amount going on all at the same time.
So let's talk. Let's dive into this. This is a show that starts out with a dune buggy chase through the desert.
Right. It's a really weird cold opening.
Yeah.
There's a dune. There's John, who is an FBI agent, who you find out later is Maxwell's partner, and he's getting chased by. Now, here's the weird thing.
Christo Fascis. Oh my God. I'm so glad this is fiction.
Like, it's so, you know what? This show could
but
be.
Don't you get the idea?
Yeah, literally, right?
Don't you get the feeling like they're skinheads in the beginning?
Yes.
And they're chasing
That's
an
what they are.
African-American.
Christo Fascists. Yeah.
Christo Fascists. They are skinheads.
Yes.
They're.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't come out and say that in the show.
Have to. They tell you right away. They're singing "Onward, Christian Soldier" while they're shooting a black guy. Like, I mean, I watched it like, holy shit! Like,
yeah,
I'm just like, holy shit! What a crazy ending for this show. Because I mean, like, I remember this. I always thought this was kind of like of a light fare of a show. No, we're going into like New World Order, Christo fascist skinheads trying to take over the government. Like,
yeah, and if you played that today, people would be like, "It's too on point," you know. It's too close to reality.
Which leads me to believe maybe it was like that too back then. There was more that going on and the underneath that we kind of realized, because it's kind of spooky. But like we very quickly that story, we meet a special ed teacher in Kenya who's got a classroom full of 30-year-olds. He's trying to kind of like mentor along. These people are all they're all like peers of his. It's very not like. They don't look like teenagers, I'll tell you that.
So here's the funny thing about it is like, is it just me, or did you get the impression that they were the sweat hogs? from Welcome Back, Carter.
100%. Oh, dude,
Well, this
totally.
was part Welcome Back, Carter, right?
Well, part of it is it's like give me a superhero show, but make the hero make the hero Cotter. Like it very much that vibe to it. This guy like so the teacher agrees he's gonna have a boxing match with his most troublesome student. And I went, wow, dude, I would just love that if that was a thing. If you could just say, hey kid, I'm gonna meet you after school and I'm up. That's clearly not a thing.
And this I mean, and the common comparison that's made is this is Green Lantern and Welcome Back, Cotter. Because because if you think about it, aliens giving a special item to a person that gives them powers.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's 100% Green Lantern. Like it's totally, that's a great way to describe it. It's Green Lantern meets Welcome Back, Cotter. That's the best description I've ever heard of this. So this guy, he has his class. He's having a hard time reaching these kids. Very Edward James Stand and Deliver. I've got to reach these kids, and they don't want it. They're fighting in the classroom. Like I've never seen this. They're throwing desks at people. This is intense. And then the guy goes home and he's a single dad, and he's going through some nasty divorce proceedings with his wife, who I guess is his ex-wife's a super, and she's always on the road, so she can't take care of the kid. But they're trying to establish custody, and his lawyer sell a lot, and they're going to get married because they're a couple. Like there's a lot happening, like in the first 10 minutes of this show, and I'm like, whoa, they're throwing so much plot. For some reason, he decides to take an unauthorized field trip to the desert, which would get you fired. And as a teacher, I can tell you that take an unauthorized field trip to the desert where my bus broke down, I would not have a job to come back to Monday. Not Ralph Hink. He winds up okay. Wandering the desert, because again, he leaves these kids at the bus to the desert for reasons. He the agent who's completely drunk, and then they're visited by aliens.
You know what? And it's funny. I want to point that out too. When I was a kid, the fact that Bill Maxwell is drinking went completely over my head. I did not pick up that he was a drunk. Yeah,
it's a little subtle. They played it a little subtle, and he I feel like he played it like you would see a real guy, not like you usually see it on TV, right? Like an understated subtlety to Robert Culp's performance. You're like, he's clearly, if you know a drunk, he's drunk, but he's not like super sloppy about it. You know, does that make sense?
No, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the thing. You don't pick up on that, and it's like, and the whole Odd Couple feel between Hinckley and Maxwell too, right? Like they were definitely
lifeblood of the show.
And here's the thing: those two actors did not like each other in the beginning, and here's the thing: again, they're such good actors that they said that they figured, oh well, I don't like this guy. I pretty much hate him. We'll use that because the characters weren't getting along in the beginning either, and so it worked out perfectly.
It does. You get this package, and then he hits a suit. It's this alien superhero suit, and he loses structure. So he puts the suit on, feels like an idiot, all this stuff going on. He's late for school, where he gets into the actual fight with the kid. He fights this kid, loses. You know, it's a technicality, the judge's decision. He loses the fight. Weird. Then he's late because of the fight went long, so he's late to his court proceedings with the kid, and he can't get there in time, so he decides to put the suit on, but it doesn't work, and he's got to have a kid teach him how to use the suit. And there's Justice League, right? The Super Friends at one point. I blew my mind. And the suit gets to work, and then they lock him up because he hits a wall and he passes out, and the cops arrest him, and there's a prior to get information for the ex-wife's. Like, there's so much going on. And then they lock him up, and then you find out he has ESP powers, and he sees that Maxwell is being captured by the fascist skinheads. And like, he's like, I gotta save these guys. I don't know how. And he just discovers he has superpowers. Then his de facto girlfriend attorney's like, you're fucking nuts. You are fucking nuts. And he goes, no, I can fly. And she's like, oh, this is fucking nuts. Like, this is the show. It's 90 minutes of lunacy.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And yet the whole point is that what really grabs you is that these actors like William Katt makes you feel like he cares.
100%.
He cares. And Maxwell,
well,
I'm sorry, the writing for Maxwell is like some of the most fun lines I've ever heard. Like some of the funniest, some of the most on point lines for like a Fed agent. It's just like almost everything that comes out of it is hilarious and perfect.
This show with lesser actors wouldn't have worked. The only reason this pilot worked is William Katt is so damn charming and earnest. Like I said before, these are he just buys into this. These aliens told him he has to do this, and he's like, "Well, okay. I mean, the suit clearly works. I have to do this." And he's so convincing. He cares so much. You feel how much he loves his son. You feel how much he loves his students. Like he feels honor bound to do this thing, and like he clearly loves this his attorney, played by the super gorgeous Connie Selica, who's like way in over her head. Like the character. That's why this whole is the character relationships in just a 90 pilot. Like they throw a lot at you, but the is so like perfect and well. The whole thing just it lands. It works in a way it probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as an aside, this Joseph guy, I think that's an AI. I don't think that's I don't think that's a real person.
Yeah,
that's fine. We just don't pull up his comments anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know how to block them on here yet. So we'll
you have to
figure
go
it out.
to X and block them.
Fine.
So but that's got the feeling of it. See, our wonderful new AI era. Somebody's trying out an AI and they're spamming us.
Whatever.
So and again they've said that it's lightning in a bottle because they have tried several reboots since then. I mean, it's
works.
not. Well, it could work. The problem is that the concept of the show, which is to subvert the superhero genre,
right?
I think the rights right now are owned by Disney, and Disney is already having trouble with superhero genre, and they've nixed several interesting ideas of bringing it back over the last 20 years.
Disney's
So,
to the superhero genre. Invert it.
Yep. Say that again. You broke up there, man.
Sorry about that. Disney's having trouble verting the superheroes, let alone inverting it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So this is a great show. This is a great show. This pilot episode is better than hoping it would. I remember it being a charming show. Like I remember liking it as a kid. I remember my mom liked it, but I mean, it really works in a way that 70s, 80s TV really was solid. Like it's a procedural show, but it's like there's the intriguing. They write it. The acting is solid. Most TV sucks. Even back then, most TV sucked. For as good as it is the play is pleasure. I have nothing bad to say about it.
So the show had some trouble because literally I think it was a day or two after the pilot aired, John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate the president. And so you can see in literally the second episode, every time somebody goes to say, because the main character's name is Ralph Hinckley. We're getting to that too. Because thanks, Kassan. You got to bring you on the show at some point. You got knowledge, man. But anyway, so anytime somebody goes to say the last name Hinckley, they basically blocked it out, and then from I think the fourth episode on, they called him Hanley for a little bit.
Yes.
Until things calmed down, and then it went back to Hinckley, I think.
Yep.
Into the second season.
John Hinckley, for those of you guys who aren't, Gen Xers or baby boomers, John Hinckley, right? Shot Reagan.
Yeah. And he's literally John Hinckley Jr. is the reason why we had an assault weapons ban for a couple of years, and it didn't last, unfortunately.
Did not last.
So anyway, so that was fun, and going back to what Kassan said, and good find, Kassan. I had that on my list too. So WB suit, and again, we said, his powers are more like Green Lantern, but WB didn't like the fact that he's got all these powers and he's got a cape, that's like Superman, and they tried to sue him. They tried to sue ABC, and it
Like,
was
are
thrown
they
out.
wrong? I mean, the powers aren't like Green Lantern. The powers are closer to Superman. The concept of the show is you put on the suit, you could be Superman, but at the same time, like it's a pastiche. Like it's not like the idea of the DC did national publication time did not win the lawsuit with Fawcett Comics over Captain Marvel. Fawcett Comics went out of business, so they eventually just they settled the suit because they had nothing left.
Right.
And then DC was able to buy the character basically on the chopping block because the company didn't exist anymore. So I mean, like this is what he does is they see someone that's in a cape, they go, "That's our property. We're going to sue you." And I'm glad that because there's enough differences, and the idea is it's parody. It's a parody of Superman. So I mean, like, but it's not like it's a very much a parody is a harsh term because when you think of parody, you almost think of something mean spirited. Like this is a more of an homage, right? Like you're paying a homage to it. Like you're showing that, like, man,
Well, it's a
you love
subversion.
this.
Like
It is
yeah,
a subversion, but at the same time, it's not mean spirited.
No, not at all. No, and yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know. Let's see. I've got other things on my notes, like Faye Grant, like the two main students, Faye Grant, were played by Faye Grant and Michael Paré. Faye Grant went on to be like the main lead in the V series.
That's where I remember her from.
Yeah. It's really, So, and she was on Seventh Heaven and a whole bunch of other stuff. She hasn't been in much lately. Michael Paré went on to do some other stuff. I didn't really follow his career, but he was supposedly he did really, really well. He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah. He's Vinny Barbarino. Like he's the John Travolta character from Cotter.
Oh yeah. Well, he was also in Streets of Fire, The Philadelphia Experiment.
He acted. He had a good career.
Dragonflight, Killing Streets.
Good show.
Yeah, a couple of things that I've heard of before. Village of the Damned. The
John Carpenter.
Village of the Damned, 1995. With
John
Frank
Carpenter.
McGowan. Yeah. So, yeah, he's been in a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like all these actors went on to do pretty good things, And again, Robert Culp, he passed away in
2010.
2010, yeah, at age 75. But he had such a long and storied career, and nobody could have played Maxwell like him.
No.
Nobody.
Thrawn says Philadelphia Experiment.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in that too. Yeah. So it was. It kind of holds up. It's kind of hard because people listening to this show, this was done in 1981. Computers were barely a thing.
Yeah.
No cell phones, except for like they did have car cell phones, and they do bring one of those up in the first 3 episodes. But like this was like the very beginning of cell phones. Like you if you had a car phone, it cost thousands of dollars, and you had to be rich. So
the UFO effect in this is pretty good for practice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
It looks really good.
It looks like it's out of Close Encounters.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Definitely an influence on this movie too. Like this show definitely wears its influences on its sleeve. Like you see Superman, you see like Welcome Back Kotter, you see Close Encounters. Like it's all very much there, which is fine. All art is inspired by or a rejection to of whatever comes before it. Like I was just amazed at how good the special effects look, because they never looked that good on like Buck Rogers or something like that, which is a contemporary show of this. It looks solid.
Well, and the thing is, like, what was my point? I had a point for a second there. No, it was, I don't know. Like, the whole point of him having the powers, though, was he like you said in the beginning, he immediately loses the directions. Okay, so he's got to figure out how everything works just by trial and error. So he never really learns how to fly straight. He comes upon powers by complete accident.
That's one of those interesting things too, right? Like there's never, like in today's world, there would be things where they try to have montages of him training and figuring out his powers, and they never do that in the show. It's
No,
all...
because he's always under the gun in this one, so he's always figuring it out on the fly.
On the fly,
if he's not crashing. Yeah. But
JD or Dave needs to gift John with a DVD set.
I'd be half surprised if John doesn't own it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This is one I actually don't own, as a matter of fact.
Ice Pirates, we reviewed Ice Pirates a few years ago on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
It's like, what did you guys make me watch? Yeah.
The ship has herpes.
I remember watching
Space
this.
herpes.
Oh my God, that's right.
I mean, they've tried to come out. They had a pilot for a new, was it in 1985? And this is weird because it was on NBC. They tried out doing a pilot for The Greatest American Heroine. The premise being that people finally glommed on to the fact that that Hinckley was a superhero, and so he had to give up the cape and give it to somebody else. And they picked a woman, and they never aired it. Because NBC again, the premise
they didn't.
The premise
they made the pilot, but they didn't pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, the premise was supposed to be, you're subverting the superhero genre, and NBC was looking for a actual superhero, like a standard fare superhero thing.
Well, the
the
problem too is they got rid of it. Like, we're going to bring this show back, but we're going to take because again, the appeal of the show is William Katt as the greatest American hero, right? And we're going to take that costume off of him. We're going to make him a mentor character. We're going to make a person, which that's like executive speak. We're like we want this thing that you have. We want to bring that back. Oh, okay, but we're going to give it to you. We're going to do something totally different with it because it's time to do something different. And the people are like, I don't want that. I want the thing. This is the thing I'm buying. So it makes perfect sense. And the problem is they've tried multiple times to bring this back, and it doesn't work because the show. I mean, like I said, everything I described, right, is lunacy. It's absolute batshit crazy, but it works because of William Katt and Robert Culp. That's why the show worked.
I think they could make it work again, but the problem is the whole premise of the show is not something that executives would greenlight these days because they're looking for their 4 quadrants. Yeah, no, it really was. It really was, again, it was good for the first 8 episodes of the first season, and then it was greenlit for 22 episodes for the second season. And a little bit into that, the producer that was allowing the show to go ahead unmolested went and formed her own company with somebody else. And then the new executives that took over started to interfere with the show. They wanted to make it more kid-friendly. And every time you hear somebody an executive say, I want to make something more kid-friendly, that's usually the death knell of the show. It was for like the Real Ghostbusters and a whole bunch of other shows.
I think,
got to make it more kid-friendly. So that was, that's when the show started to go a little bit down. But you can see that they still were trying to pull like a Bruce Timm, where they had some episodes that were really weird and crazy and interesting. Like when they found that there's an actual ghost realm. They happened on it by accident. And Maxwell gets possessed by an evil ghost, and that was a really freaking creepy episode, and it was awesome.
I do think, though, real quick, my opinion is in the 80s, I think a TV channel, and even beyond that, they might be looking for a superhero show where they don't have to pay for an IP.
Mm-hmm.
Where today they want an established IP to have a guaranteed audience.
But it is an established IP. My wife, when I showed her the poster, she says, "Oh, I've seen that shirt at Walmart."
Yeah,
like the symbol has this. It is an IP. It's not I don't know how valuable of an IP it is, but the Greatest American Hero, specifically the symbol, could do something. Again, I think the problem is because it's not an IP, because it doesn't come from comics, because the one version of it worked.
Yeah,
it struggles. Like it's like when people try to bring back Knight Rider, but it never has Michael Knight, like never has David Hasselhoff. Doesn't work, right? Like that's especially stuff from that era is so associated with the people in it
Like the Hulk could come back because the Hulk came from comics, right? It's not necessarily you didn't need Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. I think this show needed William Katt and Robert Culp, or it needed. It's like same with my big qualm with the Quantum Leap reboot is like the guy on the show just isn't Scott Bakula.
Yeah,
and his
well,
partner just isn't Dean Stockwell. Like it just doesn't have that type of a chemistry. So I think it's been the big struggle to relaunch The Greatest American Hero is because people think it's about the suit and the antics, and it's not. It's about the character relationships.
Yeah,
and when you don't have those kind of character relationships, things don't work. And sometimes those things only happen because of lightning in a bottle. Like for two guys that hated each other, Robert Culp and William Katt had great chemistry,
and they became friends later as the show progressed.
As the ship on the show progresses, again, it transpires. Like there's a word. It shows. Yeah, it shows when you're watching it. But again, without that, bottle lightning, whatever you want to call it, cliche you want to throw at it, like it doesn't work. It's never as simple as we'll just do this again, and it'll work like it did last time. Right.
Well, yeah, you're right. It was lightning in a bottle, but I think they could do it right if they found the right actors and the right writers. The problem is that none of the executives are interested in that kind of show now. They want something cookie cutter. They don't want something that's going to subvert, and delve into the.
I disagree because I think you're wrong on that because what did we hear multiple times when we talk about what's your favorite superhero show? The Boys. The Boys subverts the Boys' entire concept is a subversion of the superhero genre. It's a dark subversion, though. The problem with this is a very earnest subversion, and that I don't know if people will connect with. I think it's too light for what an audience would want to look for nowadays. Like you're not gonna do The Greatest American Hero banging his girlfriend in the sky like in The Boys or something like that. Like it doesn't work for this particular property. Like, and I don't know if anyone can other than Disney. I don't know who else could do this. And if Disney did it, it might be too You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's too many balls that have to be juggled for this show to work.
There's one last thing I'll bring up about this, and then I'm basically out of my show notes. How I don't know how would I say this? How nice was it? The way the writing was. How optimistic was it that the people that they picked to wear the suit, they weren't war heroes, they weren't jaded cops or any of that. The people that they picked to wear the suit were teachers, both in the original and even in the Greatest American Heroine. They picked teachers, and I think the way the writers were going, that really says something about the spirit of the show.
Yeah,
we're amazing people. I don't know what else to tell you.
Oh my god, and so humble.
Yes.
All right. Well,
saving America day by.
Yeah,
I think that's all we need to say about this show is that if it wasn't for people like JD.
So the shows
should have been somebody else.
Yeah, JD, do you pay for YouTube?
Fuck no. Who are you talking to?
Okay, all right. I was just wondering.
Okay,
I pay for it, and they have almost the entire show.
You don't have to
YouTube,
pay for it.
so...
You don't have to pay for it. It's on there. I don't know. It's probably one of those shows that's weirdly fallen out of copyright, and no one wants to claim.
Which is strange because Disney owns it, as far as I understand now. They own the rights to it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can watch it on YouTube for free. You can.
Just because you own the IP doesn't mean you.
Yeah. There's a lot of channels that have it where you can just watch it too. I think it's on Prime, also for free, as long as you have a Prime membership. So yeah, there are tons of places to watch this show, and if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. At least watch the premiere. It's an hour and 40 minutes without commercials, and it's
It's fun.
It's fun. It's a weird premise that like I don't think would work today, but
I don't think should work. I don't think it should have worked then, but
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah, you're right. But I think a lot of it is the chemistry between the two of them. So
Agreed.
all right, let's go watch it. All right. On that note, let's wrap this one up. Let's go around and you guys tell me like, did you learn anything this week, or do you have any recommendations? And JD, you can go first.
I didn't learn a damn thing. I just finished the MCU book. The theme song is epic, Frosty. I don't know if you were on the show when I went and did my own rendition of it. My recommendation. I just finished. I think Joanna Robinson is the author. I forget the name. I can't. My phone is a camera. I can't look it up right now. It's called MCU. It's the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I got the Audible edition. It was absolutely a fantastic read. I cannot say anything about this book. Please, give it a review, Thornkill. You said great show, Jen.
Yeah.
Okay, headphones.
All right. John?
I learned that make sure you get your flu shot really, really early in the season.
What? No.
I learned it the hard way. And Kasan, Eminence and Shadow, I'm working on season 2 now. It's funny as hell. I like it. But as far as my recommendations are concerned, I have nothing really to recommend except if Godzilla -1 is still out, go see it while you can. You know, just support the hell out of that. We need more movies like that. You know,
Agreed.
Character driven, well freaking done on a shoestring budget. You know.
Yeah.
So that's it. What about you, Dave?
Give it the Oscar.
Yeah, no, it really should be a contender. I
best
don't
foreign
know if
film,
it will
I agree.
because I don't know if it will
Frosty,
because of the way they work that crap, but
Frosty recommends the comic book World War 33 by James
World Tree.
Tinian.
James
What?
Tinian. James Tinian.
It's a different and breath of fresh air, not Marvel or DC. Yeah, well.
Oh God!
No.
Oh God! I think that's one that I'm sorry. Rebel Moon has already been reviewed by several outlets, and I don't think we need to say anything more. We don't have that much time to shit on a show.
Dave, press the button. Dave, press the button.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
That was an appropriate use of that clip. Kasan, we'd be interested to hear what you think about it if you're going to watch it, but I'm not going to bother. I don't have time for that stuff.
I learned
Good old Snyder.
I learned number one that AI bots are beyond freaking annoying.
Yeah,
and I went on I don't know if you noticed. I was on my phone. I went and tried and blocked the account on Twitter.
Hard to
but it was
miss.
still spamming.
Yeah,
It was still spamming after I blocked. I don't know what's going on. I'll figure that out afterwards.
that's weird. I knew they had AI bots, but I've never seen one in action, and that's annoying as hell.
Yeah. Took us off our
Weird.
game a little bit, I think.
Yes. But let's see. I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. There's links to all our social media at the top of the page. Comic book reviews by our good friend Chris. Hopefully we'll be getting some more soon. I also recommend if you're watching this and you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we come live every Sunday at 8:30 right here on this channel. I also am going to recommend, I'm sorry, but you go see Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom because that is what we will talk about on the very next Superhero Speak.
We're gonna have to talk about that next Sunday. Is when are we doing
Eve.
the show?
We'll figure that out when we go live.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we probably won't want to go live on Christmas Eve. That'd be weird.
I guess we can't review Aquaman 2. Damn it!
Oh no, we could go live.
We
the
usually take
day
the
after
holidays
Christmas.
off.
We do
Don't
normally
we
take
usually
holidays
take the
off.
holidays
Hey,
off? I think.
blame
think we need
Jason
to take
Momoa
the hol-
for.
Yeah.
For his damn sexy Momoa.
We'll figure it out. The next time we go live, we'll be talking about that movie. So, on that note, boys and girls, as always, first off, I'd like to say, if you don't see us, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. It's been a good year, and this little experiment of going live has been fun. And yeah. And on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let you get caught in the door. Have a good week.
Believe